Good morning. Give me a second while I welcome our Spanish-speaking neighbors. Buenos días. Si usted quiere participar en el programa de hoy en español, por favor usa el número que aparece en la pantalla, que es 646-749-3122. Cuando le contestan su llamada, por favor comparte el código que también aparece en la pantalla y es el 779-328-221. Usted va a llamar a la línea de conferencia y le vamos a tener un intérprete que le va a ayudar a escuchar todo y participar en español. Good morning again. Welcome this Tuesday, February 20th, to the Spring Primary Election Vote-a-thon. I am Tammy Rivera, the Executive Director and Lead Organizer here. I have the privilege of cheerleading on a great team of board, staff, and volunteers who work with and for you in the community. I want to make sure if you haven't been with us before, that you know what's coming up. I'll talk a little bit about SOC, encourage you all to participate, and then we'll have a section on some of the voting details, what times, how to know where your voting location is, etc. Throughout the vote-a-thon, the youth organizers have recorded some encouraging videos and some instructional videos on our surveys. So we're so excited to share that with you. And then we have some guests, collaborators from the community that you'll want to hear from. And we'll ask for your engagement throughout the program at any time. We want to know who is here. So we'll ask you throughout the program to share a comment and your name or any questions. And so today's an important day. It might not feel that way to folks because there are not a lot of elections today, but it is the mayoral race, and that's a very important race for us. We want to make sure you know today what the critical voting details are to be of support and help to you. But also want to let you know that we do nonpartisan civic work. That means we don't work for any party or any candidate. We just want to make sure our neighbors have all they need to vote. A little bit about SOC. I'm hoping you're already in relationship with us, but if you aren't, this is our 34th year of serving our fellow neighbors. We are the longest standing grassroots organizing justice center doing work with our neighbors here on the near South Side. And what we really do is we work alongside you to ensure that your neighborhoods are safe, they're livable, and they're economically vibrant. We like to say that we do our work in a little bit of a poetic tagline, which is we want to ensure you have a voice in what happens in your community, you have a vote, and you have a vehicle to organize together to make great changes. I want to remind you to say hello in the comments. The only way we know that you're here, and we're hoping some of our Forum super fans are joining us today, is for you to leave a comment in the comment box and just tell us who's here, and we'll give you a shout out. A couple of things I want to remind you about. We do an annual garden fest and bloom and groom. That's low cost plants and flowers for our neighbors. And that's going to take place on Saturday, May 25th, that weekend of Memorial Day. So pencil that in. We want to make sure that you get a chance to participate in that. And last year it was really great. We had some resident leaders talk about it, being a beekeeper, a master gardener, how to landscape, how to do a water garden, how to do a fairy garden, how to keep chickens. And then we had several other community collaborating organizations there for you. So you don't want to miss that. And then today we're going to be with you here at 8 o'clock, at 12, and at 6. Many of the videos today are pre-recorded to avoid some technical assistance problems to do a pre-record of a welcome, and I'll do a thank you at the end as well. And so, what you're going to see next is um, some of our team members, including I get to pass the baton of hosting over to one of our new executive managers, Carmen Ortiz, so we can give her a shout out and a clap. She is our legal and special projects director, and she's going to be hosting the rest of the forum until you see my pre recorded thank you at the end. We're going to have her come and say some hellos if you put your name in the comment box, and then she'll take it forward from here. Thank you for being with us, and we look forward to being a help to you today.
Hello, Milwaukee. We invite you to come partner with us on all of our SOC promotions, including our post-pandemic survey, to determine our priorities for the next couple of years.
We would like to partner with you and continue partnering with you to help make your neighborhood dreams come true and address all your top concerns.
SOC was started by neighbors just like you who want to make sure the South Side was safe, livable, and economically vibrant.
Please fill out the post-pandemic neighbor survey for an entry to win our $50 gift card raffle. The link will be in the comment section. Link or scan the QR code.
And we hope to hear from you all.
Hello and welcome to the Southside Organizing Center Vote-a-thon. Thank you, Tammy, for introducing the program for today. And I see that Clary is already watching us. Thank you, Clary. And if you have any comments, please put your name down so we can acknowledge you. And if you have voted already, make sure that you tell us what number you were at the polling place. This morning, we're going to present various videos. And like Tammy introduced me, I'm Carmen Ortiz. I'm new to the center, and I am the Legal and Special Projects Director. And we're here today to share information about the Wisconsin primary elections. The spring primary elections are taking place today between 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. In addition to the mayoral race in Milwaukee, different parts of the city have different other people running for positions. Again, remember to bring your ID to the poll with you, and you're still able to register to vote today. You need to bring your photo ID and proof of your residence. Moving on, if you need information regarding your voting place, the best place to look at is the My Vote. And this morning, I'm going to share with you a little bit show and tell on how to use and where to find My Vote and where to find at My Vote. Let me take a minute to share. And if you can see this site is the My Vote Wisconsin. My Vote is myvote.wi.gov. And if you scroll down before we keep going, you can see that there's a button that you can press and have all the information in Spanish. We're going to go back, and we're going to highlight two areas of the site. First of all, we want to do where do I vote and what's on my ballot. For where do I vote, I'm going to use our address here at the center. That's 1300 South Layton Boulevard in the city of Milwaukee. And our zip code is 53215. This is going to tell me my polling place, which is the Doffler School, is Ward 215, and it also provides me with the address for the school. Um, in addition, on what's on my ballot, we have a sample ballot, and you can see the only issue for Milwaukee for this area. My address is the mayoral race. We have the incumbent, which is Mr. Johnson, and two other um, uh, challengers, Ms. Griffin and Mr. King. And it also gives you an option for a write-in. Going back to the tabs, you can find all kinds of information here, like your voter ID, what's on your ballot, like I mentioned. You can update your address, your name. You can register to vote, except that that's a little late for today. You can vote absentee by mail, and the instructions on how to obtain absentee ballots are there. You can track your absentee ballot, and you can it gives you instructions on how to vote absentee in person. Um, and if you have problems, we still presenting. If you have problems voting today, you have a number of options. You can call the ACLU, and the helpline number is available in English, and it gives you an option for Spanish. And that number is on our screen. And the number is 1-866-687-8683. And for Spanish, you press 2. I see that Wilma is also saying hello. Wilma is our operations assistant here at SAC, and she's also a poll worker, and she's doing that today. Moving on, this morning we're going to present a number of videos with collaborators from our community and other providers. This morning we'll have Jonathan Zuniga with the City of Milwaukee, the Elections Commission. And his number is 414-286-3491. And that's another resource if you have issues regarding finding your polling place or any other request for information that you might have for the City of Milwaukee. We'll also have Eloisa Gomez with the Comité por el Voto Latino from the League of Women Voters. And finally, we're going to have Israel Ramon, Register of Deeds with the County of Milwaukee. After the videos, we're going to show a production from our youth. And throughout the day, you can get in contact with us. You can send messages through the website, through the Facebook site. And you can also call our number, 414-672-8090. I believe that now, if you're with us, please write your name in the comment section. I will be able to acknowledge you and say hello. Please go out and vote. Even though this is a primary election, all the elections are important. And after the videos, we're going to have another message from our youth. Thank you.
Jonathan, what are some of the common things people get obstructed in voting on? Like, what are some of the complaints we've heard so that they understand the realm of their rights?
I think one of them, you mentioned it, is that after redistricting in last year, some of the polling place changed. So if you already voted in November, that's the same polling place. But if you haven't voted in the last year or so, and this is the first time you're going to vote, then go ahead and go to myvote.wi.gov and check your polling place before heading out your home, so that you can make sure that you're going to the correct polling site. So that's very common thing. Sometimes too, people say, "Oh, I don't have my photo ID. I lost it. I just went to the DMV and I have my receipt that they give me because I'm waiting for the actual car to come in the mail." Right? You can use that receipt as your photo ID. Okay, so go ahead and take that to your polling place, and you can use that as your photo ID. What else?
If
You
they're
can,
in line by 8.
if you're in line by 8 p.m., you are your right is to vote. So chief inspectors, the poll workers at your sites, they know that whoever's in line by 8 p.m. gets to vote. Okay. At 8 p.m., they usually put a poll worker if there's a line, so that no one else gets in line after 8 p.m. Okay, so if you're there at 7:59 at 8 and you are trying to register, they're going to help you out and you're going to be able to vote, right? And again, if you have any issues, contact us, call us, because we want to know about it and address it immediately.
And let's walk people through that process in case they've not voted before. So they're going to get to a location. It'll have signs, voting here. You usually follow the arrows. You go to the place. And then what happens is take it from there.
Yep.
Talk about the people who are gonna be there, like the different players, and then what they need to do next.
Yeah. So we have poll workers, and they're called election inspectors, and then we have a supervisor who's called a chief inspector. So you're usually going to meet an election inspector who's a greeter or who's at the door welcoming you into the polling site. And then they're going to determine, okay, are you a registered voter or do you need to register today? So we have two different tables for those processes. So one is where you are already registered and we have the poll books, right? So you go to your ward and then they're gonna look you up. You have to say, hey, my name is Jonathan Zuniga. They look up you in the poll book, and then they're gonna ask you for their address, and you say your address, right? And then you're gonna go ahead and sign the poll book. Okay. So then after you sign, the election inspectors will give you a ballot and a voter number for you. Okay. So then that's your cue to go and get that ballot and voter number and go to the voting booth, make your selections, and then put that ballot inside the voting machine. Okay. And then once you get the voter number, you can comment on SOC's right here page and tell us your voter number, right, Tammy?
Yeah, thank you.
And then
and use the hashtag the Southside votes.
There you go. So make sure you let everyone know that today is voting day. Then, but let's say that you get there and then you need to register. So then they're gonna take you to another table where they're gonna ask you a couple questions. They're just gonna make sure you're at the correct polling place, because you have to register at your designated polling place. And they're gonna make sure that you have photo ID and proof of residence, which we just talked about a moment ago. So then once they verify that you have that, then they're going to ask you to complete a application, a voter registration application. We have them in Spanish and English. And then you complete that. The election inspector will review it, make sure you completed everything and that it's legibly. And then they're going to go ahead and sign the bottom part of that application. Once they do that, then they're going to give you a ballot, the voter number, and then you're going to go ahead and make your selection and vote.
Great. Lots of information, folks, to help you vote. We encourage you to do that. We thank you, Jonathan, again for being with us and helping all our community understand what's happening.
We are continuing with our guest, and today we have Eloisa Gomez, coordinator of the Comité por el Voto Latino of the League of Women Voters. Hi, Eloisa, how are you today?
Good, I'm doing fine. Gracias, Carmen. And thank you so much for inviting the League to say a few words about the importance of voting.
Eloisa, can you briefly talk to us about the work of the Comité por el Voto Latino and the League of Women Voters?
Yes, I'd be glad to. Gracias, Carmen. Yes, we are made up of all volunteers who really care about promoting the vote among Latinos. We volunteer to help people register to vote. We help them vote online or on paper. And then we also make sure to provide non-partisan bilingual voter materials so people are aware of the dates of when it's time to vote, the early voting opportunities, how to apply for absentee ballot. There are many aspects to voting that we want to make sure people know about them.
Mm-hmm. And Eloisa, how do you provide the information to help people decide regarding the candidates and what they stand for?
Well, first of all, we really try to share as much information out in the community through community organizations. We share the information at schools, and so we try to get the message out in different ways, banners outside on play fields. And then we also give information on Vote 411 to give more information on the candidates.
Okay. Would you like to walk us through Vote 11 today?
Thank you. Yes, I'd be glad to do that. If so, I know it's going to be coming up on the screen in just a few seconds. And I want to just say, as it's coming up, that you can have your cell phone with you when you go to the ballot box, and you can use your phone if you say, I'm not sure who I'm going to vote for, and pull it up and get some of the information you might need to help you decide. So Vote 411 is part of the League of Women Voters, and the League of Women Voters is nationwide. We're all across the United States. And we feel it's important for people to have access to information on what the candidates have to say about their position, why they're running for office, what they intend to do when they're in office. And that's one of the biggest questions people ask us in the community. If you will note here where it says register to vote, right to the left there where it says English, right there, you click on it and then you can do it in English or in Spanish. So right now we'll do it in English or in Spanish, either one. And then we'll, what you do is you see the 3 blue boxes. Now you're already registered. Let's say you already checked your voter registration file. Everything's current. Then the 3rd box, the one on the right, we click on that, find what's on your ballot. And that's what's called your voter's guide. So then if we were to scroll down a little bit, we're going to get some more information. Well, here we've got to enter an address. You need to enter in your own address. And in this case, we're going to put in the Southside Organizing Center's address. So here we go with that.
All right.
And once we enter it, we say, get started.
All right.
So this gives you some information. Right now we're doing it in English, but again, you could do it in Spanish. And then we're looking at all the parties that are involved. These races are non-partisan, but you want to click all parties for now. So, and then you say save and view races. And see your races come up. And the one race that all of us in the city of Milwaukee have for February, our February 20th election is the city of Milwaukee.
And this is the mayor's race.
Thank you. Yes. So there are the race details. So in this little short paragraph, what is this race about? You know, what does the city of Milwaukee mayor do? And that shares that right there. So you get to look at that if you would like, and then you can scroll down further.
And here is both in Spanish and in English, so you don't have to click a different button to get to the Spanish.
That's good. Yes, thank you. So you get to meet the candidates. The league invites, we do this impartially. That is, we don't favor one candidate over the other. We push out the questions and the candidates themselves answer it, or they don't answer it, but we never say anything on behalf of the candidates themselves. So we have these 3 candidates here, and then you get to look what their answers are. And here, general information, candidate answers. And then first, it just gives you some information about how to contact them. Maybe you want to ask some more questions. So that is here for you to see. One-stop shop, you can get that information. So now we see that one of the candidates has not responded yet. Again, they get to choose. They want to answer, they can answer. They don't want to answer, then you know that. They're choosing not to answer. Mm-hmm. So the first one, if you wanted to go back up a little bit more, we will only ask a very few questions. Okay, go the other way, not that way. The other way, go back. I'm sorry. So if you go
down,
that's going up. Yeah, you go down. and keep going. And then here, stop right there. What are your goals for your term in office? This is the first question. And then you get to look at their answers. There's only going to be a few questions because we know people don't necessarily have the time to read, 20 different questions, 20 different answers. So there's only going to be a few. Those are key questions that you should help you decide who you want to vote for. So here's the answers. And again, another candidate that didn't respond. So now we have another question. What would you do to ensure all residents have equal opportunities to access and enjoy the resources of the city, et cetera, et cetera? So it goes on for a little bit longer, but this is our introduction to you, and we hope it's a good resource.
Okay. Well, and there's some more questions, and people can stroll down and get the views of the candidates that provided the information to you.
Exactly.
Okay. Let's get out of here. How can someone engage with the work of Comité por el Voto Latino and the League of Women Voters?
Thank you, Carmen. Yes, we're all volunteer based. We need volunteers to help us outreach into the community. So you can call our main line and leave your name and your phone number and your email address, and we will follow up and call you and invite you to select. There's many different kind of volunteer opportunities. For us, it's working in the Latino community. So you would just say, how you want to volunteer, or give me more information and I'll decide what I want to do. So the League's phone number is 414-273-8683. That's our main line. You're going to likely get the voicemail because we hardly have any staff. We only have one part-time staff. But
okay.
Your information is recorded, and that person will pass it on to us if you wanted to do some volunteer work with our Comité por el Voto Latino.
And Eloisa, a few last words of encouragement to tell people why it's important to go out and vote.
Thank you. Every election is so important. We think the presidential election is the most important, and indeed it's very important. But the aldermanic race is important. Your alderman, choosing your alderman, choosing your county supervisor. These are all issues that affect us on a daily basis. So we encourage you to learn more about the responsibilities they have. And every vote counts. So if people aren't voting, we're not counted. Our voice is not counted. So it's so important for us to vote, to be informed. That's why we have vote411.org. That's why we're here, and other organizations that are nonpartisan are here to give you information to help you show up at the ballot box.
Thank you. Thank you for your information and for being here with us today. We appreciate your collaboration and your support of our organization. Thank you.
We do appreciate what the Southside Organizing Center does. Thank you so much for inviting us.
Thank you. Hi, we now continue with one of our guests. Today we have Israel Ramon, Register of Deeds for Milwaukee County. And he's here to provide us with some information, and we appreciate that from Israel. Israel, how are you today?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me, Carmen.
Thank you for being here with us. Can you tell me a little bit about your position and what do you do for the city of Milwaukee?
For the county of Milwaukee. So I am the Milwaukee County Register of Deeds, and my office is responsible for recording, archiving, and maintaining, as well as preserving all of our county's real property records. In addition to that, we're responsible for issuing all of the vital records, not only at a county level, but statewide level. Those include birth certificates, death certificates, marriage certificates, divorce certificates, and domestic partnership certificates. So we can issue any vital record to anyone living in Wisconsin or living outside of Wisconsin, but was born in Wisconsin or was married or divorced in Wisconsin.
And Israel, how did you become the Register of Deeds? I believe that we have a good story there.
Yes. So I came to Wisconsin in the early 90s to go to law school. I was born in Sabinas Hidalgo, Nuevo León in Mexico, and I grew up in northern Illinois, Chicago, and Waukegan, and came to Milwaukee for law school at Marquette University Law School. I practiced for 25 years as a lawyer, and in early 2019, I got a call from the county executive and a couple of county supervisors letting me know that the governor was going to appoint a new Register of Deeds for Milwaukee County, as the old Register of Deeds had resigned or retired, and they were interested in having a lawyer in that position. And they approached me and asked if I would be interested. And I thought about it and decided, yes, that this is something I would be interested in. And they forwarded my information to the governor, Governor Tony Evers, and he appointed me in May of 2019.
Okay. And can you tell us what changes have you implemented in the office, especially things that will benefit the Latino community in general?
Sure. So one thing that's very important for the public to know is that Register of Deeds have been around since the early 1800s in Wisconsin. This is even before we became a state. So the Register of Deeds office has really been around since like 1835, 1836, and it's a constitutional office. I'm proud to be the first and only Latino as an elected constitutional officer in the state of Wisconsin. I'm also the first immigrant in many, many years as the Register of Deeds. So being born in Mexico, having Spanish as my primary language when I came to the United States, for me, it was real important to make sure that everyone had access to good government services. And I think one of the problems that I discovered is when I got sworn in, public service, customer service, access to the public were really not a priority in this office. So I went about changing that. And I did it in such a way where we were able to get a language line so we could help anyone virtually that speaks any language. We did it in such a way where I hired more bilingual staff. I made it easier for people to come into the office, transact their business that they have to do in whatever language that they have, and then send them on their way home.
That's great. Now let's pivot a little bit to election information. As you know, today we have a mayoral primary, and there's some other positions depending on where you live in the city. But as a Milwaukee resident, what do you think are the biggest challenges to the Latino voters to become engaged in the voting process?
Yeah, so absolutely. We have an election that's very important. As you mentioned, the mayoral race for Milwaukee, for the city of Milwaukee, is going to be on the ballot. But in addition to that, there are the county supervisors that are going to be up for election. A lot of older people, older persons for the city of Milwaukee and other cities. So it's really important that everyone vote, especially the Latino community. Growing up, I could not vote. I was not a citizen because I was born in Mexico. I was not eligible to vote, but I did become eligible once I became a citizen when I was in college. And after I became a citizen, I made sure that I voted in every election because it is important, because there are impediments to voting in the Latino community that we have to overcome. And one is the changing of the polling or voting locations. That seems to happen quite frequently. I don't know why it does, but I always encourage everyone, including Latinos, to make sure that they call the City Elections Commission at 414-286-3491. Or if they live outside of the city of Milwaukee, but in Milwaukee County, they can call the Milwaukee County Elections Commission at 414-278-4060 to ask about their polling location. In addition, if they feel comfortable, they can go to myvote.wi.gov and plug in their information and to their address there, and that will also give them their polling space or location, I should say.
Thank you. Israel, as as a person that, as a Latino, and understanding how important it is to vote, what do you think, or what is your belief regarding engaging the Latino voters to come out to the polls?
Well, that's always a challenge for our community. And we need to do better as a community. We need to make sure that people understand that voting is a fundamental right for every United States citizen that is eligible to vote. In addition to that, voting is a learned behavior. So when our children see us going to the polls, or we go with our parents to vote, they look at that and say, hey, my parent is engaged. In addition to having the parents set an example of being good citizens and going out to vote, we also need to get the schools involved to teach civics, to teach the importance of participating in the wonderful democracy that we have in this country. So we need to make sure that we not only educate ourselves as voters here, but that we also educate our children and our grandchildren that this is our civic duty and it's our right. A lot of people have marched and suffered to get the Voting Rights Act, which was passed in the 60s. There continues to be challenges in our right to vote, especially as Latinos, and we need to overcome those challenges by going to our voting location, presenting our IDs. Currently, that's the law in Wisconsin, and making sure we vote for individuals that we think represent the best interest of our city, county, and our community.
Thank you. Thank you. That's great. And I hope that you remain engaged with us as we continue with our civic service in Milwaukee, in the city of Milwaukee and the county of Milwaukee. I appreciate you coming to give us some words and share with us your experience and your interest in engaging the Latino voters. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here, and it's a pleasure to serve my community as you do.
Thanks.
Did you get out and vote? Well, the spring primary election is happening right now. The polls are open today from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. and should take around 15 minutes to vote.
We want to remind you that, like Jonathan Zuniga said, you have rights. If you're in line by 8 p.m., they must allow you to vote. If you have problems voting, please call the SOC office at or call the ACLU hotline for English speakers and for Spanish speakers.
For more detailed information, please check the link below. Here you can find voter information, including your specific voter info.
Register day of with all the proper identification, which includes your polling place is important because the recent census changed some of our districts, which resulted in some of our voting polls, location changes, and some sample ballots. Plus more info.
Remember, it's important for you to stay connected to your vote all year round by holding your elected officials accountable for their promises and roles.
And just a quick reminder from our SOC youth,
Your vote, your voice.
And welcome back. I hope you enjoyed those videos. And I'm smiling because I think the video from our youth is so cute and so informative. I think they're doing a great job showing us and promoting the importance of coming out and vote. Today we're going to continue with some messaging. Again, if you're watching us, say hi so we can acknowledge you and show us your number, your voter number in our comments. We're going to have now a video from the Fair Maps Coalition. As you may know, yesterday the governor signed new maps, the legislature to provide us with new maps, and we have a little information about that. In the future, we hope to have a more complete discussion about how the maps are going to change or not, or how we vote in Milwaukee. But let's see if production has the video ready for us. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Yusali Flores, the co-organizing director for the Wisconsin Fair Maps Coalition, and I just wanted to offer you all a brief update about what just happened at the Capitol earlier this morning. The governor signed Fair Maps into effect. So his maps were one of 4 maps that were deemed the most politically neutral, and they met all constitutional requirements by the experts who reviewed the maps that were up for review at the Supreme Court. And we want to make sure that we celebrate this huge win for the state of Wisconsin, because this just means that communities are going to be put back together. This win restores neighborhoods, and we are excited to see what the future of voting looks like in the state of Wisconsin with these new maps. Thank you all.
As we close out this segment of the Vote-a-thon, we hope to encourage you in your action on 2 things today. The first is ensuring your vote is powerful all year round, and the second is to join with SOC in the work we do with all the community.
Engage with democracy and voice your opinions on our Vote-a-thon. Fill out the survey for another entry in the $50 gift card drawing.
Please share feedback via our forum surveys to help shape our future forums.
The link will be shared in the comment section below. Let your voice be heard and make an impact today.
Get involved today. Democracy matters.
Remember, if you fill out both the post-pandemic survey and the Vote-a-thon survey, you will have 2 entryways into winning a $50 Visa gift card.
As we conclude the vote-a-thon today, I want to thank you for being with us. And I hope that the information you got today both inspired you to vote, helped you to vote. And we want to extend an invitation to partner with us to keep your vote alive throughout the year, to be able to know what the people you elected are doing with budgets and committees and legislation, and help you participate in that process throughout the year to make sure that that you can achieve the dreams for yourself, your family, and your community, and address the needs that you also have. If you want to contact us today, throughout the day with any questions or concerns, you can call 414 672 8090, 414 672 8090. And you can email us at soc@socmilwaukee.org. You can make comments here, the Vote-a-thon, with questions or concerns, or on any of our social media platforms. We're on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. And so please feel free, that we'll be monitoring all of those sources today to make sure that we can get back to you in a timely fashion to make sure that you vote. Before I let you go, I just want to give a shout out. It takes a whole team to make this vote-a-thon happen. And so let's start with our production team today. Shout out to Stacy Carlos, who's our main producer, and Mario Canacasco, who is shadowing her to learn how to do production today. Shout out to Wilma Ortiz, who is on scene helping us to ensure that the interpretation line is working. Shout out to Tony Chavez, our operations director, who's floating and problem solving while we're doing the productions. Shout out to Jeanette and our youth. Jeanette is our youth coordinator, and she worked with the youth to get the messages out today, and they'll be joining us when they're out of school, just to get the experience of producing a vote-a-thon. A shout out to also Jeanette and Vanessa, who are working on getting you the comments and all the details and links throughout the vote-a-thon today. And then thank you to Mario, who is our communications and digital organizing coordinator, and our interim IT person, who's learning how to produce today, but coordinated the bilingual services. And thank you to Ucelis, who's a community partner that we work with on civic engagement, but also serves as part of the interpreters team who are available to us for these type of events. And then last but not least, bravo, Carmen Ortiz, for being willing and wanting to serve as a special projects leader of this votathon in our civic team, and for her willingness to be a host today. I think I didn't miss anyone. I hope I didn't miss anyone. And again, thank you to our guest, and thank you to you all for being with us. Go out and vote, and let's continue to make an impact in our community.